Okay, this is a sample hive inspection we're doing for my students. We can't go in the bees, and so I thought it would be fun to go through an inspection. We're going to go through this here, which we call a nuke. This is a nuke that overwintered here and requeened itself, and so we want to check on and see how the queen is doing. And we do the same thing with all of them, but this is one I haven't been in a little while, so I want to go check it out. I'm lighting a smoker. I'm using old egg crates and making a nice fire. Egg crates burn nice and cleanly, and they burn easily. And of course, as we talked about, the smoke calms the bees down and keeps them from deciding stinging, in theory. It's nice to get a nice smoke. Take the time to do it, because there's a general rule. The general rule is bees will start stinging you as soon as the smoker goes out. I should note that I'm being helped by my brave daughter holding the camera. Slightly freaked out, but so I have a bunch of rocks here on top, some bricks to keep it from blowing over. This is a tall hive outer cover. I have been feeding this hive in this hive top feeder. I haven't really been eating much of it, and as you can see, old sugar syrup gets this kind of dirty black stuff in there. It's like I guess it's mildew. Now this hive is not. Now we've talked about in class how the bees like to build up. These bees, I wouldn't expect that there's very many up here, and there's not. I kind of gave them another box. I'm almost certain that there are no, the queen is not here because she's a new queen and I don't see a ton of bees. So I'm going to get down to where I think the queen is. And actually I hope that there is a queen. Last time I checked they had requeened themselves, but if she's in here, she's building up pretty slowly. I'm not sure what happened to the queen that was here, but she was still in the hive, but she looked weak, and they put supersedure cells in and they replaced her. So that's old honey left over from last year. You can see it's very dark. It's totally fine, but it's not honey we're going to harvest. So the brood box, just from what I can see from down here, looks like it's all the way down this box. So, can you come a little closer?
My leg is stinging.
What's that? You got stung? No, they're not going to sting. They're very common. It's a beautiful day. It's about 75 degrees. It's sunny. On days that are 75 and sunny, these are the perfect days to go in the hive. These are just like you, in a good mood to be outside. You can see how mellow they all are. And so, I should say I'm picking up the frames from the side like I said in class, assuming the queen could be on any of them. And so this frame here, as you can see, very pretty honey. And then this is the brood nest, and as if you can look down in the cells, this part here just has some pollen and some nectar. So far no brood, but now I do see brood, so that was a good sign. So as we've talked about, you want to assume that the queen could be on any frame, and she's I don't see her. So if you look here, you see these bees eating. That's because I smoked them, so they're filling up with honey in case there's a forest fire. They'd have to leave the hive. This is the kind of natural instinct, and you know, you can tickle them, and they come out, and you can see they're not. These bees are not agitated, but which is good. No reason to agitate them. So there's brood on this frame. She's right there in the middle, a nice tight pattern. Laid all the way around. You can see the same thing on this side. So this is the edge of the brood frame, and actually, incredibly, this here is called a queen cup. There's nothing in it. When you inspect the hive, if you want to be able to look down and see the cells, I mean the eggs in the cells, you often have to angle so you can see in the sun. That's what I'm doing. That's why on a nice sunny day, it's a nice day to inspect the bees. You can see brood, all brood, and then there's some larvae here, if you can see that on the video. And when I take a frame out like this, I always like to put it in the same way. You don't have to, and sometimes I do the opposite if I'm trying to prevent a swarm or something. But I usually do that as a way of, I figure the bees set it up the way they like it. Again, beautiful solid packed brood. Now this was basically went down to nothing because they raised a new queen, and so once all these cells emerge, then the population of this hive is going to grow exponentially. So they'll fill in these boxes. It's only April 7th today?
6th.
6th? So it's pretty early. And if you can't see it here, but there's eggs in all of these cells. This is older brood about to emerge. Within the next few days, this is all eggs. And then on the outside of the eggs, pollen, and then the outside of that, honey. This is kind of like a perfect frame, just like the ones we were talking about. Now, here's the queen, right here. You can see her. And that's a nice young queen. She's laying very nicely. And doing just what we want her to do. I know she's young because she was just born. This is all pollen. So this is in the second box. And we saw these boxes are empty, right? So we know this hive can build up quite a bit. I mean, by empty, I mean there was no brood. There's some honey and there's comb, and so I just happen to have these extra. Now you see, I'm not smoking very much because they wanted to drop the smoker. I wasn't smoking very much because they didn't really need it. But you do want to be careful with things and balance them carefully, because the one thing you don't want to do is balance a beehive you're inspecting and have it fall over. Now that's happened once with my father when we were splitting a hive, and there happened to be a thunderstorm that came out of nowhere, and oh my goodness, the bees were not happy when my dad knocked over a huge stack. But it was pretty funny. Now this is again nice brood frame. So we saw there were 3 frames of solid pack brood, and so the way the brood nest works in the hive, it's kind of, you know, oblong egg shaped. And so in this hive, if you can imagine it was in this sort of circle right here. And the reason why I wanted to look down here is to see if she had laid down here, because if not, I would have lifted this box up. So you can see this is where she was originally laying. And this is all, it's probably hard to see because the sun went away, but this is all brood. There's some larvae in all these cells. And the one thing you'll notice that you will see only with a real young queen is I haven't seen a single drone cell. And that's because this hive is not looking to swarm. It more or less already swarmed, in the sense that their queens died and they raised a new one. I'm not sure what happened. The other one, she might have just gotten old. Well, I said there was no drone, but there's a couple drones here. But there's not, like in the big hive I split yesterday, there were whole frames that were just solid packed drones because they were getting ready to swarm. So this hive here, in this frame, you know, that's just pollen. Newer frame, they haven't really done much with it at all. She hasn't laid in it. But, so basically, in this frame it just has honey. So there's some brood here, and then the other one it's right here. So we'll wait. What I think will happen by the end of this month is she'll move out of that box. They're already fully in this box, and they'll move into this one, in which case we'll swap that box up. And by the end of April, my goal will be that this is slam packed with bees, and maybe we can take some frames out if we need to keep, if we want to put more hives, because I have a lot of equipment, and one thing I don't like to have is equipment without bees on it, because it's just a waste to have it sitting there. This hive here, we can go over. I'm not going to disturb it because it has a new queen. She just emerged. I had eggs in here as of March 11th, and they made queen cells, and so she just emerged, and I'd rather just let them build up. So this nuke here is has a new queen, and this one I just split on the 6th. No.
Today is the 6th.
Today's the 6th? Well, I split it last week with my other daughter as part of a homeschooling science lesson, and so we split that into 2 other nukes. So 1 strong nuke in the spring. We made 2 other hives at least, and it's only early April, so I'm guessing we'll make some more. And that is the basic hive inspection. I put everything back the way it was. Put a brick back on there, and we're good to go. So if you have questions, let me know.